Hello everyone, welcome to the Dataquest Leading Lady series. I'm personally very excited about today's interview. The reason being, we know that women are underrepresented in STEM. So when you talk about cybersecurity, it becomes all the more niche. But the person that we have with us today has not only excelled in the field of cybersecurity, but she has also made it to the absolute top. We are honored to have with us today Ms. Jhilmil Kochar. She's the managing director of CrowdStrike. Prior to CrowdStrike, Jhilmil has held leadership positions in various other companies and has had over 20 years of experience in the IT industry. Not just that, she is a very known mentor in the cybersecurity network for women. She also mentors school children as part of the Atal Innovation Mission. Ma'am, it's an honor to have you here with us today. Welcome to the Dataquest Leading Lady series.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Supriya.
So, ma'am, if you could start with, telling us about how your journey has been in the tech industry. What were some of the challenges that you faced and how did you overcome them?
Sure, I'll do that. And you should call me Jhilmil and not ma'am, please.
Okay.
Right. So I'm an engineering graduate and I completed my post-graduation from IIT Delhi, which you know is a very premium institute in the country in the early 90s. I started my career as a developer, learning to write C++ code, understanding the telecom protocol world. In the 90s, the telecom was being developed at that point in time. Over a period of time, I graduated into architecting IoT products, products that are household names today. Again, over a period of time, crossed over to various other domains like gaming. I delved a little in, doing casino games, rather building them, and then cybersecurity. And it was a personal choice to move across various technologies because I wanted to get a broader perspective. In the 25 plus years of my career, after 25, I stopped counting. I have tried to build upon my strengths and, learned extensively from my colleagues and mentors. So, and I've been lucky to find fantastic people wherever I went. So as a child, my upbringing was more like, if you see a hurdle, jump over it. Literally, I was an athlete. So growing from building innovative products and teams, to building innovative companies. Currently, I serve as the managing director for CrowdStrike India. So again, there are two aspects to my role. As part of the engineering group, I lead a product group, which is a new domain we are getting into. And I'm more focused on the strategy for the product, the creating the vision and the roadmap, and building a team to deliver the products, right? The other role is as a managing director for India. And having joined about 4 years back as one of the very early employees in India, I've helped set up the India team from scratch, hiring talented engineers, building a world-class office, and people in other disciplines. Today, we are a strong organization to reckon with, and people aspire to work for us. We have a state-of-the-art office where we not only focus on building an innovation center and a center of excellence, but also a certified great place to work.
So that's really nice to know, Jhilmil. So Jhilmil, when talking about cybersecurity, it becomes very niche. I mean, we know that, in STEM, there are, very few women, it's like only 27% of the entire workforce. So how does it look like, what does it look like in the terms of diversity? What does cybersecurity looks like when you talk about diversity?
Right. So, just to talk about that, I'll start from when I was in engineering. When I got into my engineering college, we were a batch of 11 girls in a total batch size of 400. So that was the ratio. Today, CrowdStrike India has about 20% women staff, about 4% being in leadership roles. So times have changed. So as per the ICMCP, which is the International Consortium of Minority Cybersecurity Professionals, the women in cybersecurity today is barely 14%. It is really not a great ratio to talk about. But in India, the government initiatives to recruit women into STEM has expanded their representation to about 34%, which is really good. So from my perspective, diversifying not only brings different levels of thinking and different skills to the table. The way to grow diversity, in my opinion, is to have a stronger emphasis on recruitment and partnerships with education institutions, followed by mentorship and training programs that support their professional development, right? So CrowdStrike as a company, we offer a lot of avenues and channels to foster the culture of inclusion and diversity. So we have a group, a function of diversity and inclusion, which is a team dedicated, to formally advancing our steps in this direction. We have an internal mentorship program, which is run by the Women in CrowdStrike group. The program actually offers the exposure to organization, career development opportunities, where the participants are paired with mentors. And then, you can identify your area of interest, cultivate your skills, and map out your career path and guidance. We also have things like, women in management through our Global Women at CrowdStrike initiative. Locally, we do a number of quarterly events like, we had a Women in Technology talks, we have Women in Senior Leadership talks. We also actively invest in programs and strategic partnerships in order to support the advancement for women. And, some of the examples are where we are members of the Stanford University's VMware Women's Leadership Innovation Lab, and also of Catalyst, which is a global nonprofit which is focused on research, training, and tools to help advance diversity. So I think as a company, as an individual, we really try to do a lot of things in order to advance the career of women in the space.
That's good to know, Jhilmil. So, now the pandemic is here. The pandemic, I think, has been harder on women. I mean, there are various studies to support this view. Women have had to work overnight. They had to shift from work from home, and they have to take care of their school, online classes of children. So, how are you personally dealing with this, and what are some of the challenges that you and your employees are facing, and how is CrowdStrike helping women employees getting through this situation?
Yeah. Right. I think pandemic has been a stressful time, particularly challenging for everybody. I think not just women. As a professional, balancing out, your work and personal life suddenly becomes more challenging because the boundaries become so blurred. Plus, in the Indian context, absence of house help becomes a big deterrent. I personally think it was more challenging for the Indian men, as majority of them have very little experience of household work, but they learned, they picked up the ropes. That plus the infrastructure challenges, you need a good internet connection, you need an ergonomic workplace, you need a silent zone for office calls, suddenly became the highest priority. So CrowdStrike ensured that everybody, all of our employees had actually had the required facilities at home. Managing teams became much more creative requirement because teams were now dispersed. It took everybody a lot of time to adjust, like more meetings were needed. There was this constant Zoom fatigue. Children and elderly had to be handled, with I think almost all employees had direct or indirect COVID impact, and stress and anxiety levels were really high, and all that affected productivity. So a major area of struggle in my mind has been around children, because their education and learning from distance, how the children are coping up with it, and how the parents are really dealing with all of that stress. I would say after initial hiccups, things did start settling down. Empathy was a very strong factor in driving productivity. Take time off when you need, work whatever hours really work for you. And everybody went an extra mile to make this a successful story. We made sure there was always more than enough communication. Managers were advised not to push their teams very hard. We established helplines for all kinds of support. We did yoga sessions and the stress relief sessions, mental wellness sessions. If people needed additional time off, for caregiving for anybody in the family, we were so glad to provide that extra support. Our insurance is covered COVID by default, whether at hospital or at home care. We have been giving relaxed days on every quarter, right? All in, I think overall we have come out of it stronger and as a more matured organization. And not only CrowdStrike, I think every organization, has been really extending that kind of a support. And as an individual, when somebody has your back, that thought itself, brings a lot of relief. And having a remote first culture in CrowdStrike has really helped. A few days before lockdown, sometime in, I think, second week of March, before the lockdown, the India team decided we'll work from remote and, we'll just take a trial to see how it works out. And from that day, it's been almost 1.5 years. We haven't got back to offices yet. But, we have not let this adversary impact us. We have been growing, hiring as usual. We have doubled our team strength in this, 1.5 years. We have learned the art of working remote. Business is strong. Delivery is par excellence. And the team morale has never been better.
Yeah, that's great to know. Actually, it's a very different view from what I've been hearing. So Jhilmil, right now I think it's one of the toughest times to be a leader. So what would you say is your leadership style?
Right. So I don't know, I always find it very difficult to explain what my leadership style is. So what my philosophy and mantra as a professional has always been to create a work culture that brings out the best in people. Leading from the front. And, I have some core values, which you can see in the backdrop behind me as well, customer focus, integrity, innovation, accountability, and a one team culture. So that has allowed me to earn the respect of the industry. I feel that if I can make a positive impact on one individual's life, I have done my job. I consider myself very fortunate that I can be an enabler with the ability to create a win-win for the employee as well as the employer. I work with people, I enjoy working with people and help build organizations that both employees and employers are proud to be part of.
Okay. So Jhilmil, what are some of the initiatives that you're spearheading at CrowdStrike?
All right. So as a leader in India, we do try to drive several initiatives as a way of giving back to the society. And some of my strong areas of interest are like around education, working with student communities, and bringing overall cybersecurity awareness to the community in general. In that respect, we sponsor symposiums, hackathons, and various other kinds of cybersecurity events. So, like last year December, we sponsored a hackathon which had participation from more than 1,000 colleges in the country and more than 7,500 students. In April this year, we sponsored an event which was called ShaktiCon, which was a global conference for women in cybersecurity. And a number of women cybersecurity leaders from CrowdStrike India gave various trainings and presentations as part of those workshops. So we do always have further plans for the rest of the year where we are exploring opportunities to work with premier institutes and drive home the awareness about cybersecurity. Another initiative that we are spearheading is where we have tied up with Avasar, which is an NGO, and we are sponsoring the education of the girl child who are meritorious but are unable to continue their education due to financial difficulties, especially around COVID. So currently, CrowdStrike is sponsoring 15 students, for the next 2 years, and it ranges all the way from primary school to college education. So just to share a couple of stories, there is this girl in her teenage. Her father works as a handloom worker and lost his livelihood due to COVID, and mother is a house help. Now, this girl scored 91% in her 10th grade and wants to become a doctor, but was about to drop from school because, they had no money to support her education. Now she's in a good college with all of the scholarship support that we are able to give. Another case where this, girl child was studying in Bachelor of Commerce first year. She had scored a 92% in her 12th grade. Her father committed suicide because of financial problems due to pandemic. Her mother works in an electrical company and earns a meager 15,000 rupees per month. There was no way they could have supported the education. But again, with the scholarship, she is back into and she'll be undergraduate in the next 2 years. So I think these are some of the real stories that help create the thought process. If when the child gets educated and then, she enters into STEM and the whole thought process around diversity, helping more and more women find the right opportunity, that's something which is very close to my heart.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Jhilmil. I mean, people will now know the other humanitarian side of CrowdStrike as well. So that will be great. So Jhilmil, you also play a very active role as a mentor to women in the cybersecurity network. So would you like to tell us something about that?
Yeah, sure. So I'm actually personally a great proponent of women's empowerment. As a mentor, I always try to counsel women towards the right career choices based on their aptitude, help them to understand the importance of innovation, make them aware about the industry, how to cope up with work pressures, guidance on various aspects of leadership. Not only for women in cybersecurity, in general, I counsel students as well. So I'm a part, like you mentioned earlier, I'm a part of Atal Innovation Mission, which is a Government of India initiative in the capacity of a mentor, where My role is to inculcate innovation right at the school level, and I work with very, very remote schools. I'm also a volunteer for COVID impacted women, widows, and I'm trying to help rehabilitate them, providing them with career guidance into a second innings and a career path. I mean, I meet women who have not worked for 12 to 13 years, and suddenly there is a need because they have lost their earning member, their spouse, and they have young children. I also do, talks in universities and colleges around various leadership and technology topics. One of the reasons why I, really took up this current role that I'm doing is because it helps provide a great opportunity to nurture and mentor people in technology, provides an arena for a great innovation work to be done out of India. So CrowdStrike has really invested heavily in building the India Innovation Center. And when I look at what we have achieved in the past 4 years in building the business, the product delivery, and the team, it makes me so proud. So it's all, for me, it all comes together. How I look upon things as a mentor and what I really enjoy doing, this all ties together into, the kind of initiatives I take.
That's just, wonderful, Jhilmil. So, you are already mentoring school children. So if there is a girl who's hoping to pursue a career in STEM and cybersecurity, what is the message that you would like to give her?
Yeah. All right. So I feel that, children need to start innovating at a very early stage. Having worked in the IT sector for more than 25 years, I've had so many rewarding roles, and I've personally employed over 100 women who have made significant contributions to the tech industry. Women are second to none, and every woman should have a career. I feel it is our responsibility to take the lead here. If we can collectively shift our mindset towards bringing more women in technology, we can reap outstanding benefits for our industry and the society. In the Indian context, it's not easy to go against the mainstream and stick to what you really believe in and what you want to do. So I am so proud of every girl who tries to defy the norm and pursue a career in STEM. We need more women in cybersecurity. So if you are listening, that can be a great career choice for you. You may not be aware about the opportunities today, but explore, ask the questions, talk to people, keep your mind open to those opportunities. There are always going to be challenges you will find, but don't let your determination be impacted, because you are unique, and what you bring to the table, nobody else really can.
That's just wonderful, Jhilmil. So before we close, is there anything, one last thing that you would like to say to our audience?
Yeah, I would like to actually share a small story, and about when I was actually in college, or rather, I would say when I was even before college. So what happened is I always wanted to study engineering. But what happened is my father believed that girls should not be studying engineering. Look at the time in 90s. Every girl in India that time was either getting into a teaching profession, or they would become doctors. But engineering, how can a girl become an engineer? That's what my dad used to think. And I used to have big fights with him, saying that that's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to build products, but he would not budge. At when you're 16-year-old, it is very easy to give in to those things. But I stuck to my thoughts, and the only way to persuade him was through my grades. Even I had to prove to him that I was literally as good as a boy. And once I did that, after that, he really stopped telling me that girls should not be doing something. So why I wanted to share the story is because it's we always think that in industry we face challenges, but you can face challenges anywhere, at your home, in your personal life, and it's up to you to figure out how to surmount those challenges and move on. So it's just that determination and the grit that you need.
Thank you, Jhilmil. Thank you so much for sharing all your personal experiences, as well as what the company is doing for people who are women who are looking to pursue a career in cybersecurity. It was truly very inspiring to listen to, and I'm sure our audience will just appreciate this interview so much. Thank you for being so candid and honest, and it was an
Thank you, Supriya. Thanks a lot.
absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.